Albus Dumbledore is remembered as the wisest and the most powerful wizard in the Harry Potter universe. But the movies never told the full, dark story of his youth. Today, I'm gonna tell you that story. So let's go back to where it all began. Welcome back to Storyteller Realities. If you love discovering the untold lore of your favorite worlds, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Today, we are following the tragic childhood of Albus Dumbledore. Albus was born in the summer of 1881. He grew up in a proud, quiet, and peaceful family in the village of Wold, alongside his younger brother, Aberforth, and his little sister, Ariana. For the first 10 years of his life, his family lived a proud, quiet, and peaceful life. But in the summer of 1891, that stable reality was shattered forever. To understand the beginning of his family's ruin, we must look at the horrific attack that took place when his little sister, Ariana, was just 6 years old. It all started on a normal day in the garden of their house in Wold, where the 6-year-old Ariana was playing with her magic. Through the hedge, she was watched by 3 Muggle boys. Fascinated by what they saw, the boys demanded that she repeat the trick, but Ariana was too young. She could not control her magic on command, and she failed to do it again. What followed was a terrifying experience. The boys became scared and aggressive. They physically attacked the little girl to force her to stop her insanity. This attack left Ariana permanently damaged, both mentally and magically. Terrified of her own powers, she tried to completely suppress her magic from that day on. But instead of disappearing, the magic turned inward. It changed into a destructive energy that exploded violently whenever she became scared or angry. Without knowing it, the young Ariana turned into an Obscurus, the carrier of a dark, parasitic power that would eventually cost her her life. Her father, Percival Dumbledore, was heartbroken and deeply furious. Driven by blind revenge, he tracked down the 3 Muggle boys and used his magic against them. His revenge did not go unnoticed. Percival was immediately arrested by Aurors. Aurors are highly trained dark wizard catchers who act as the police of the ministry. He was sentenced to life imprisonment in Azkaban. During his trial, he firmly refused to explain why he had attacked the boys. He was terrified that the Ministry of Magic would find out the truth about Ariana. If they did, they would lock her up forever in St. Mungo's Hospital as a danger to the Statue of Secrecy. Percival took the secret to his grave, dying lonely in Azkaban just to protect his daughter. But his silence came with a terrible price. Because the outside world never knew the real reason, everyone believed he was a cruel Muggle hater. This gave the Dumbledore family a ruined reputation, even before Albus ever stepped foot into Hogwarts. After the arrest of her husband, Kendra Dumbledore fled with her 3 children, Albus, Aberforth, and Ariana, to the quiet village of Godric's Hollow. Out of fear, Kendra completely cut off her family from the outside world. She kept Ariana strictly indoors, hidden behind closed curtains. Because the neighbors never saw the little girl, dark rumors quickly started to spread. People whispered that Ariana was a squib. A squib is someone born into a magical family, but without any magic of their own. They believed Kendra was deeply ashamed of her daughter, that she hid her away. For the young Albus, this isolation had a massive impact. He learned at a very young age how to lie, hide the truth, and keep heavy secrets to protect his family. Albus was blessed with a brilliant mind, but he felt trapped in a depressing house full of secrets. He wanted nothing more than to escape this heavy reality. That chance finally seemed to come when his acceptance letter to Hogwarts arrived. When Albus arrived at Hogwarts in September 1892, he started at a disadvantage. Because his father had been sent to Azkaban just 1 year earlier, he was ruthlessly bullied as the son of the Muggle hater. Even his own housemates in Gryffindor looked at him with fear and suspicion. Isolated by everyone else, Albus found comfort on his first day with Albus Doge. Albus was avoided by everyone because of his greenish, pockmarked skin from dragonpox. But Albus looked right past his scars. Soon, everything changed. Albus did not fight his bullies with violence, but with unmatched brilliance. He broke every school record and won every prize, which made the bullying stop completely. Everyone predicted he would become the future Minister of Magic, though his true passion was in the classroom. As a teenager, he was already publishing papers in magazines like Challenges in Charming, Transfiguration Today, and The Practical Potioneer. By Owl Post, he also corresponded on an equal level with great names in the magical world. He wrote to Nicholas Flamel, the legendary alchemist who created the Philosopher's Stone, Matilda Bagshot, the famous magical historian who wrote the History of Magic, and Dilbert Waffling, the great magical theoretician who wrote the Fundamental Laws of Magic. 3 years later, his brother Aberforth arrived at Hogwarts. The two were complete opposites. Albus used his mind, while Aberforth preferred to fight and hated books. Aberforth lived in the heavy shadow of his brilliant brother, and their differences kept them distant. While Aberforth fought his way through school, Albus's dominance continued to grow. He became a prefect, head boy, and won the Barnabas Finkley Prize, a highly prestigious award for exceptional skill in spellcasting. Chief Examiner Griselda Marchbanks later stated that Albus did things with his wand she had never seen a teenager do before. In June 1899, Albus graduated with top honors. Just as Albus had successfully completed his 7th year at Hogwarts and was about to begin a long-awaited world tour with his friend Albus Doge, tragedy struck relentlessly at home. The now 14-year-old Ariana was overwhelmed by her violent and uncontrollable magical outburst. Her mother Kendra desperately tried to calm her down, but the magical explosion of suppressed powers was so devastating that Kendra was killed instantly. For Albus, his dream of the future completely collapsed. He had to cancel his plans and the world tour immediately. As the oldest son, the heavy burden of responsibility now fell on him. He had to return to Godric's Hollow to take charge of the broken family and care full-time for his unstable sister. Albus intensely hated this situation. While Albus was at his lowest point, Gellert Grindelwald arrived in Godric's Hollow. Gellert, the great-nephew of the historian Matilda Bagshot, had just been expelled from the magical school Durmstrang for dangerous experiments. The two met at Matilda's house, and the connection between the two brilliant young wizards was instantly electric. They were equally brilliant, arrogant, and ambitious. Albus fell deeply in love, and the two became inseparable. Together, they forged plans for a new world order under the slogan "For the greater good," driven by an obsession with the Deathly Hallows to rule over Muggles. To seal their loyalty, they secretly made an unbreakable blood pact. They cut their hands and caught their blood in a magical amulet, an oath that physically forbade them from ever fighting each other. Grindelwald offered Albus the perfect escape from his dull life, causing him to blind himself to his friend's dark side. But his obsession took a heavy toll at home. Aberforth felt that Ariana was being completely neglected and furiously decided to confront them. He confronted Albus and Grindelwald, shouting that Albus was sacrificing his family for insane plans. Grindelwald became furious and fired Cruciatus Curse at Aberforth. Because the magic of the Blood Pact physically prevented Albus and Grindelwald from attacking each other directly, Albus could only step in to shield his brother. Aberforth fiercely fought back, and their spells collided in a chaotic, violent crossfire. The living room erupted into a storm of magic. Hearing the noise, the 14-year-old Ariana panicked completely. She tried desperately to help, but lost control of her destructive magic. In the middle of the flashing rain of spells, Ariana was fatally hit. She collapsed and died, causing Grindelwald to flee the country immediately. The family was shattered forever. At the funeral, Aberforth hit Albus out of pure rage, breaking his nose. Albus was left with an overwhelming sense of guilt. For the rest of his life, he carried a heavy secret. Because he had cast spells to protect his brother, he never knew for sure which of the three had fired the fatal shot. It broke his soul forever. And from that moment on, Albus Dumbledore would never be the same again. Are you curious what Dumbledore did with his life in the years after 1899? In part 2, we will dive into this. We will explore his partnership with Nicolas Flamel, the discovery of the 12 uses of dragon's blood, and his return to Hogwarts as a professor. We will also see how he fights behind the scenes against the rising power of Grindelwald, leading to an inevitable conflict in 1932 that will completely test the magical boundaries of the Blood Pact. If you don't want to miss this, make sure to click that subscribe button right now and leave a thumbs up. And for now, let me know in the comments whose spell do you think actually hit Ariana. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.